When I look at things, I don't see them the way most people do. I mean, if you look around my shop, I have a lot of weird looking metal things and I have lamps. But when I saw them as being a part of something else. I think I was always somewhat different than my brothers and sisters. My mom and dad always kind of expected me to follow that mold, but I always kind of thought different. I always kind of went a different route. Part of it was probably out of a rebellion, and part of it was just I thought differently. I don't think my artistic side really came out until much later. That probably didn't come out until, my high school, maybe even early in college age. It was really, I think that was just a time when I really realized, when I felt alive as far as, creating and doing something different. Out of high school, and actually my last year of high school, my senior year, I worked for this clothing store. Working it for 10 years, I was really restless. I was restless not knowing why, not knowing, that I wasn't using my creativity. I bought a house when I was 20 years old, but then I had this house and I had a job that I hated. I totally felt trapped into it. I think what that period did is when I finally stepped out of it, is that it made me realize that I can't go back. I can't go back and do a job that I just do for the money. It has to be something I'm passionate about.
So tell me what was the sequence of events that led you to making furniture?
Well, it came through a job change. I ran a thrift store, and so the part of that I really enjoyed when I was doing that job was the furniture. And I would go out and shop for furniture and try to find the things that were really unique and different. The economy was starting to go down at that point, and so we ended up needing to close the thrift store, and I didn't know I was going to lose my job. It was just before then that I decided to refinance my house. So out of that, I drew out like $25,000. So it's like, wow, what am I going to do now? And so I started, because I had that money, I took that money and invested it in running the business. And part of that was the idea of taking old things and giving it a new life and making it new again. Really, there came a time a year into it that I was out of the $25,000. My mortgage was getting behind. I think it was about at that time that I started to realize that everything was on the line. It really started appearing that the custom part of my business, the custom furniture, was what was going to be more lucrative than the other part. And with clientele that, they started seeing the pieces that I was doing, and they were pieces that were going into, multi-million-dollar houses. And I would just remember doing these projects and just kind of laughing, thinking, I can't believe I get to do this. But it was getting close to, if each month, if I didn't sell a certain amount, I was going to get behind. It was either make it or break it. Talking with friends, wise counsel, friends within my, that knew me, that knew what I was doing. They just gave the advice of just stick it out. I felt God affirming that in everything in my life, that it's a struggle, but keep going. There were times when I lost the passion, I just was burnt out, or I was financially just so stressed out or whatever, but it was really the passion and loving what I do that drove me and kept me going beyond all the struggles that I was having. If you're going into it just for the money, the money is not going to drive you for very long. I think the thing I've learned within the process, within the struggle, within the high points and the low points, that's when you're growing the most. Do what you're passionate about. It's a struggle, but keep going.